Now you're sitting at your table, you have the vision, and you know you're aware of big changes in the world, megatrends. Fine. How can you manage uncertainty? Because there is a lot of uncertainty about the megatrends. Some are likely to happen, some of them you don't know. And you need to know how to cope with uncertainty. Let's first distinguish two kinds of uncertainty. Uncertainty type 1, for example, who's going to win Wimbledon next year? You don't know, I don't know. Uncertainty, definitely. But we know exactly what we don't know. We know exactly we don't know the name of the winner of the tournament next year. This is not a big issue. Why? Because we can make like forecast, if, or, etc. The real problem is uncertainty type 2. When you even don't know, you don't know. Remember what happened with this volcano in Iceland with a name impossible to remember, when all planes on, at least on this side of the planet, were forced to land. They couldn't fly for 3 weeks. It was an event with a huge impact, but nobody ever imagined this could happen. And for event like that, you cannot make any forecast by definition. And the danger is not to do anything. What's the good, the appropriate attitude? For uncertainty type 1, you try forecast. Type 2, you prepare yourself. You prepare yourself. You try to organize your company on a robust mode. Since you cannot make any forecast, try to be ready, at least better prepared than other people. And this is the scenario. I have forgotten this image, which is a good one, because the event unlikely to happen with huge impact are called now very often black swan, since this book has made this concept famous. And I asked my cartoonist to be more black than the black swan, so that's why it happened here. Now, let's go back to the table. You see the vision in front of you, the world outside the room, and we have now 4 additional boxes. They are called scenarios. What is a scenario? Now you know what's next, the definition, of course. A scenario is a story about a possible future. It's a box. It consists, there is a beginning, there is an end, and it's a story that could happen. Scenario planning is not new. Shell is doing that now for at least 50 years. They produce sets of scenario every 7 years, something like that. One scenario makes no sense. A company is not Hollywood. We don't have to produce films of movies. You need a couple of scenarios to stretch the mind. And I go backwards in this. You need, of course, you focus to the main vision. You don't change your vision. That's what you want to achieve. But thanks to the scenarios, you are like remind at any time, but if, what could happen? And there are many ways to do scenarios, but you need them to disseminate throughout the company the language of uncertainty. They are a bit extreme situation. For example, in the world of perfume, I've been told a problem with persistence. Sometimes the perfume is excellent, but after 12 hours doesn't smell good anymore. So they need perfume resistant. And in order to achieve this resistance, in those companies, they have like climate room with extreme climates, 100% humidity, 0% humidity, I don't know. And they test the perfume in extreme situations. And that's how they manufacture better perfumes. It's like if you take an Airbus, if you fly with 1,500 people, it will never happen. But you could learn a lot about the solidity of the airplane. Scenarios are extreme situations, and a lot of companies are using them now to test the robustness of the company. I had an example recently. A company had to hire, I don't know exactly, a position in Switzerland. And he told me we had a short list of three people, and we couldn't choose. And somebody suddenly said, okay, let's make scenarios. Let's imagine extreme situation. They will never happen, but they will help us to select the more robust candidate in the short list. And that's what happened. We have developed at BCG a lot of scenarios on different domains. And I'll give you an example about green. Green, everybody agrees. Green is important. Green, we should become green, etc. But at this stage, it's a bit weak as an analysis. So we built scenarios. We built scenarios on different way, different mode to go to green. And I will show you the end product. And of course, again, I use cartoonists. So my definition is here. One scenario, green, was called the big clash, illustrated by this drawing of a world where everything looks okay and another world where everything looks not okay. It's called the big clash. Another scenario was like, the dream. It was called locavore, so people living close to the house to minimize the energy consumptions, etc. Another one was called, I forgot the name, it was called, behind green doors. Behind green doors, it's a scenario where green is fake. Everything is painted in green, but basically nothing is changed. But it's a possible scenario. And the last one was called Green Brother, because sometimes you can imagine, in the name of green, you have like a huge system watching everybody everywhere, don't do this, don't do that, and that's called Green Brother. Just an example. Of course, it takes a day to build scenarios like that, but it just helps you to be a better manager in this green responsibility. A scenario is a memory of a possible future. It's funny because normally memory goes backwards. I remember this from the past. In this situation, and in order to be a good manager today, you need to remember possible futures.